Hey YouTube, welcome back to Universe X, and today we actually just got the full SR spoiler for both blue and yellow, meaning both colors, if I'm not mistaken, have actually given all of their spoilers. They're not up on the DBS website yet, but through the Facebook posts, you've been able to see the rares, the uncommons, the commons, and now the SRs. So we're gonna actually start diving into those two colors because we already have black and red up. So now we're gonna get blue, and then next video should be yellow. And we're just gonna wait till green comes out, which is interesting because green seems to have some really busted cards. Like Turles is looking mighty spice. So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in to the next installment on this channel. And if you like the content, if you're vibing, think about subscribing. No, seriously, rhymes aside, trying to build the channel. I'm loving the growth as is, and I hope to keep making more and more until I become one of your main stops for Dragon Ball Super content. And if you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, think about doing so. Can't even stress enough, I do it at the beginning of every video. It is the largest forum for information for our card game. So let's actually start this off with the Pikkon parts, because some of these colors are, of course, they're normally split into two archetypes, maybe some stragglers, but this set is pretty much split into two different types, and that's the Pikkon / Gogeta cards and the Janemba cards. So the Pikkon Leader pretty much prefaces the entire archetype. It is a scry heavy deck, and if you don't know what scrying is, that's generally being able to look at the top cards of your deck and choosing which order they're placed back in. So Pikkon, we've already been over this, but when this card attacks, look at the top two cards at the top of your deck, or up to, add up to one mono blue card amongst them to your hand and place the remaining cards at the top of your deck in any order. Then choose up to one of your Pikkon cards with energy cost of 3 or less and return it to its owner's hand. Okay, that's cool. And then of course you have the Awaken at 4 life. He's an untapped draw 1 leader. Let's see, moving on, it goes to a Pikkon Penetrating Strike. I will never call him Paikuhan. You can't make me. And auto, when this card attacks, you do the same thing. You scry the top two, you add one mono blue card from them into your hand, and then you put the remaining cards top of your deck, and you can bounce up to one Pikkon with energy cost 3 or less to and one of your opponent's battle cards energy cost of 3 or less. So it's a great amount of disruption on the backside, and that's pretty great. At once per turn, look at the top 3 cards at the top of your deck and put them back in any order. So that's a hard scry effect. Okay, so moving on, we've got Son Goten battling the forces of evil. He's just a generic super combo. They have to put combos like this in the game because when you start doing store championships where it's limited to the set, you gotta have as many cards as possible to make your decks functional. You can't like rotate out super combos, that would suck. So you got this card, generic super combo. Moving on, you've got Vegeta Fusion Synergy. When this card is played, draw 1 card. He's a 1-drop. It's kind of weird because, I mean, this is this is Majin Buu from set 1. You never fooling anybody, but he's there, okay. The important part is that there's going to be synergy later. So it's like, for all intents and purposes, a filler that's literally a cantrip. Not the worst. Next card, Veku Making Excuses. He's unique. He has blocker. And permanent, this card cannot be KO'd in battle, so that's already pretty cool. Just good blocker. He can be removed by effect though, so just be wary of that because there's a lot of destruction effects going around. Activate main, burst 3. If your leader card is a Pikkon card and you have placed at least one blue Son Goku card and one blue Vegeta card in your drop area, with this skill, play this card from your hand. And if you didn't play this card, discard it. Okay, so first things first. Sounds narrow, you know, you're gonna mill 3, hopefully you get these, but it's not narrow because that's what the entire archetype does. On your Awaken side, you should be able to just use your activate main and know right off the rip if this card is going to be able to actually drop as intended. So it's pretty calculating, but it's a unique blocker and that's cool. You're not swinging with it because he's at 101 or 1001 attack. Next we got Pikkon Flawless Technique. If your leader card is a blue Pikkon card, when this card is played, draw 1 card, then add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. Then choose 1 card in your hand and place it at the top of your deck. Good. This card is going to gain you 1 card because you're going to pick up a card and put a card down, so that's a break even. So it's going to actually just replace itself in hand, to be honest. It's a floater. It doesn't actually plus you. However, it will allow you to take a card in your hand that you may not want in hand to put at the top of your life, or top of your deck, in order to set up for your plays that require you to know that top card, those top 3 cards. So this is cool. Burst 1. If your leader card is a blue Pikkon card, when this card is removed from your battle area by a skill, at the end, if the card you placed in the drop area with a skill was a blue Son Goku or Vegeta card with an energy cost of 1, you may play it with the skills negated for the turn. Now, that's cool because you can stack, right? And then you can use your Legion's effect and you can bounce this to hand, and then you can mill that Goku or Vegeta you just stacked and bring it back. That is a really cool play, and it allows you to, already this deck seems like you're going to be using a lot of cognitive function. I like that a lot. However, with the skill negated, it robs you of some of the card effects. Like, if it didn't negate the skill, I know that would be broken. But if it didn't negate the skill, oh yeah, I would be stacking Vegeta onto the top of my deck, that 1-drop Majin Buu reprint, and I'd be playing him from the grave, and he would draw me a card to replace. Yes, that would be great. However, that's not happening. The next card we got here, Son Goku Heavy Hitter. He's got Barrier, permanent. This card cannot be played from any area except by skills. So this is one of the cards that you should be able to cheat out with this Pikkon. If your leader card is a blue Pikkon card and you discard this card, look up to the 3 cards on the top of your deck, add up to 1 Mono Blue Sand or West Galaxy Warrior card with an energy cost of 5 or less amongst them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the top of your deck in any order, and then place this card at the top of your deck from your drop area. You can activate the activate main skills in this copy for the turn. Cool. So this is actually pretty neat. This is going to allow you to search the top 3, and you're going to be able to grab a Vegeta. You're going to be able to grab a Goku. You're going to be able to grab a Gogeta. You're going to be able to grab a Pikkon. Like, there's a lot of cards this can get from the top of your deck. So it's going to be a very kind of toolboxy like effect. And then on top of that, you're going to be able to put this card on the top of your deck. Meaning that if then you want to use, the 1-drop Pikkon's effect, Burst 1, you're going to be able to put this guy on the board, and he's going to be 10k with Barrier, and that Barrier will wear off. Well, the Barrier will come into play when you end your turn, because then the negated effects for the turn is no longer going to be in effect. So that's actually very interesting. 1-drops with Barrier make it feel a little bit better because they won't be waxed by Dormant immediately, but yeah, we like this. You got Son Goku, Fusion Synergy. When this card attacks, you get to take a life, and then he's going to gain 10,000 power and critical, making him 15 crit. So you got to draw 1, and you got a 15 crit Self-Awakening. Very solid 1-drops. We'll just move past it. Then you get this 1-drop Vegeta, Sentinel from Hell. He's a blocker, and he can't be played from any area except through skills. He has the same effect as the Super Saiyan 3. When he's played, or activate main, you discard this card, you're going to look at the top 3 cards. You can still search a Blue Saiyan, or you can search a Galaxy Warrior with cost 5 or less. Place the remaining cards in any order, and then you put this guy on the top of your deck. Same as Super Saiyan 3 Goku, they're mirror cards, just meant to search while setting up. Then you've got Trunks battling the forces of evil. He is a super combo, and he's one of these new rotations of Rejuvenate super combos. So if your leader card is blue and you have a blue Unison card in play, when this card is used in the combo, you're just going to draw a card, and then at the end of battle, choose up to 1 of your blue Unison cards with Rejuvenate in its skill text and place a card, or place this card under it from the drop area. So super combo and then shloop under your Rejuvenate. I'm gonna have to see what comes out next set, because right now I'm not sure if Rejuvenate is strong enough to warrant using these cards, but I'm sure as we get more Rejuvenate cards, we're gonna see some stuff. Even so, it's kind of odd. Next one, Pikkon supporting his comrades. Auto, when this card is played, you look at the top 2 cards from your deck, add up to 1 mono blue card amongst them to your hand, then place the remaining cards at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. You can't play copies of this card for the turn. And let me just add that Pikkon, when you play against this deck, you will never not see Baby Hatch. Like, this deck is going to just always have access to its mono blue pieces. And that's kind of wild. Like, I want to see how thick the shell is. Like, after I reveal all these colors, I'm going to start kind of going into deck builds. I want to see how thick these shells get. Because if this Pikkon engine is going to take up 35 cards out of your 50 card deck, then yeah, it may be a lot harder to actually make these things work. But if the core is like 25 cards or so, like depending on how we can work it out with the ratios, this is going to be destructive because your blue card is going to be floating to the top. Like you're going to just be snatching cards every single turn, and it's always going to be the best card, and they're all mono blue. I have a feeling about this. This feels fun. I just can't wait to see it in application, not just on paper. But moving back to its effect, burst 1. If your leader card is a blue Pikkon, when this card is removed from your battle area by a skill, if you play, if the card you placed in the drop area was okay, cool. So he's going to actually do the same thing as the other one. When you bounce it with your leader effect, or any effect for that matter, or it gets removed, you can just burst 1 if that card was a Vegeta or a Goku. Does it have to be a 1-drop? Yeah, with an energy cost of 1, you may play it with the skills negated. So this is actually really cool. It's almost a complete copy of its other card. Let me just make sure. Almost. Yeah, because the other one is Self-Awakening. This one's just Scry 2, but they're very, very close. Now next, this is one of the first cards I actually feel really interested in. Great Sandman, Punisher of Evil. Deflect, Barrier, Blocker, Revenge. This is a massive combination of cards. Like there's too much sauce. That's a huge description. Like let's not even lie. That's a huge description. Deflect, Barrier, Blocker, and Revenge. Auto. Once per turn, when this card KOs an opponent's battle card, switch this card and want to one of your mono blue energy to active mode. Okay, so like imagine your opponent slinging with 20k and you just super combo up. I mean, it's gonna make the blocking phase a lot harder because people already get really weird about Revenge, and the fact this guy has Barrier, you can't just wipe him off the board. So this is actually kind of disgusting. You're going to be able to just have this dude here, and it's going to change up the way the battle phase is going to work. And then if he does get to block and you choose to defend, you combo on him, he's going to be able to open up energy for negates as well as potentially take out another defender. This card is value. Love it. So I'm going to move past. I really, really like this card. Gogeta, the Demon Destroyer, unique, barrier, and dual attack. Now we got a little bit to talk about here. Activate main, 3 blue. If your leader card is a blue Pikkon card and you place 1 blue Son Goku card and 1 blue Vegeta card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck in your drop area and shuffle your deck, play this card from your hand. Okay, so this guy, energy cost of 1 from your... So this guy is able to pull the materials from your deck and go out. I guess they're starting to feel like Union Fusion just from the hand is kind of funky, but they are able to just play this out for 3 energy. 5-drop for 3 energy, 25k body, okay, unique, barrier, and dual attack. That's not bad at all. Now activate main once per turn, burst 1. If your leader card is a blue Pikkon card and you have 4 or more energy, this card is placed in your drop area with this skill was a blue Gogeta card with an energy cost of 8 played on top of this card. Okay, so this guy has barrier, so chances are he's going to be able to survive that long. He's 25k, so you can probably defend him as well, and you're in blue, so chances are if you don't want the attack going through, the attack's not going through. And then when you get up to your next turn's energy and you play this card, is this card's effect? I mean, you use Pikkon's ability to stack that 8-drop Gogeta at the top of your deck, you know, and then you burst 1, you can evolve it directly into the 8-drop. So this is, I like this because there's a lot of skill shotting in here. There's not a lot of like, oh, I just draw a lot of cards and all of it gets to my hand. This is a very, very purposeful manipulation at the top of your deck. And I feel like it's going to have a high skill cap. Like, I could be wrong, but like I said, I need to see it in application, not just on paper, but I'm loving it so far. You've got the Pikkon, Stalling for Time. He's a blocker. He's a 3-drop. If your leader card is a blue Pikkon card, you don't have a Gogeta card in play. When one of your cards is returned from your hand, from your battle area, play this card, and you can't play battle cards, you know, with this name for the turn. Now, this is pretty crazy. This is actually pretty crazy because this guy can come out on turn 1. If you play the 1-drop Pikkon and then you bounce it back to your hand with your leader skill, you can drop this guy down. Am I right? And you don't have a Gogeta in play when one of these cards are... Yep. Yeah. This is a turn 1 blocker for 10k. That's actually really neat. And he's going to be probably swinging in that early, but still. If you have 3 or more energy though, and this is an auto, when this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, activate this skill. At the start of your next main phase, you may pay double blue. If you do, choose up to one blue Gogeta card in your hand with energy cost of 5 and play it. So this is another card. Like, on 3 energy, you can pay 2 out of your 3 energy to cheat out Gogeta, leaving 1 energy up for you to still be able to defend. That's tight. And then you get to survive with a barrier threat on board that could attack twice, put some pressure on, and then go into your A drop. We dig that. We can dig that. So next, we're going to go on to West Galaxy Revival, okay? If your leader card is a blue Pikkon, draw 2 cards, then choose 1 card in your hand and place it at the top of your deck. So already, just know, this is not even a +1. This is a break even. You play a card, so like you go down by 1 card, you draw 2 cards, and then you put 1 at the bottom of your deck. You're still ending up with the same amount of cards you had in hand. However, you get to switch 1 of your mono blue energy to active mode. So you get to look 2 cards deep in your deck, put 1 card back for your stacking purposes, which this Pikkon deck takes advantage of, and you get to switch the energy you use for it to active mode. I'm here for it. But you get to do that, and then there's another activate main. This is cool because it has 2 different effects. This is cool. Now the other activate main is, if your leader card is a blue Pikkon and you choose 1 of your blue unison cards with the Rejuvenate skill, send this card from your drop area to your war, place the top card of your deck under the chosen unison card, and you can activate the activate main skills on this card for the turn. So that's actually really neat. This card gets to either set up your deck for free, or you get to try to set up your Rejuvenate play. I dig it. I can dig that. So, the last 2 cards in here is actually pretty cool. You got Gotenks battling the forces of evil. This guy has Deflect, Double Strike, and Barrier. I'm already upset. I don't know what it is that Bandai is loving about these Gotenks cards, but they always gotta have like the wall of text. So you got Gotenks battling the forces of evil. Deflect, Double Strike, Barrier. And auto once per turn, if your opponent activates a counter skill during a battle with this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring Barrier, return them to the owner's hands, and switch up to 2 of your mono blue energy to attack or to active mode. I'm sick, man. Blue did not need this. Like, dang nabbit, man. So this guy's a 20k body, and he's double strike. He's got Deflect, he's got Barrier. Your opponent can't do anything about him coming down, and he gets to swing. And, you know, pressing Double Strike on turn 4, that's wild. I mean, blue can definitely back this up with some combo power because they have so many negates. They don't really need to use things like super combos until they need to press or they need to dig. So you put this guy up to a 30k and it's Double Strike. Or, I mean, if your opponent, like, oh gosh, I hate this. If your board is empty, yes, blow it out the water. But if your board isn't empty, your opponent is literally just gonna get up in them cheeks and blow up all of your stuff. Blue not having removal was one of its heals, you know? Not a lot of removal. They have some hefty bounce, but not a lot of removal. And it allows them to kind of get away with the fact that they're one of the only decks in the game that can just say no to like a bunch of your cards. But this guy not only is not going to be able to be counterplayed against, but he's going to be able to board wipe. So, and switch up to 2. Oh, they can tap out for this card and swing. And you have to eat it and combo out of it, draining cards from your hand, or you have to kill your board and they get to untapped. Okay. Combined with certain leaders, this just could play 4 energy and then untap 4 energy with your awaken turn as well as this. And I think this card's a little bit overtuned, I'm not gonna lie. I think it does a little bit too much for the color and archetype that it's going to be played in. So that's just kind of that for me. Now the last one, Gogeta, Godspeed, Demolisher. Double strike, dual attack, okay? And he has EX Evolve for 2 blue onto blue Gogeta with energy cost of 5, so he comes off the 5 drop. He loses his barrier, so he's going to be open to like Hazy Shinron. He's going to be open to a bunch of stuff. So that's kind of a little saddening. However, once per turn, if your leader card is a mono blue, when this card is played or your opponent activates a battle card skill, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and return them to their owner's hands. Okay, so he just gets played and he can bounce 2, or they activate a battle card skill and he bounces 2. Cool. Auto, if your leader card is mono blue and you have 6 or fewer cards in your hand, at the end of your opponent's turn, they choose 3 cards in their hand and place them the rest at the bottom. Okay, look, you can read it for yourself. They tried to sneak in old Gogeta's effect without being as broken as old Gogeta, but the difference is old Gogeta was a trigger. You pulled it and you just emptied the clip on somebody. You shuffled their hand and the card had deflect and it was just stupid. Now, this card does not have deflect. This card does not have barrier. And his effect is a trigger at the end of your opponent's turn, allowing your opponent to get away with killing it far before it can go off. And to even have this happen, you have to be at a low card in hand. Your opponent, like, if you have to enter your opponent's turn with 6 cards in hand. And guess what? If they swing and you don't combo and they put you up to 7, this guy isn't working. So they could easily just try to push through a damage and see if that happens. It's a compromising card because your opponent can push you to have more cards in hand. They can push you having less cards in hand and then go, cool, I was still going to remove it, but now you have 3 cards in hand because, you know, you're trying to activate the effect. There's a lot of cards that will get rid of these cards, like Max Power Kamehameha. You're not tapping 8 for this card. Chances are he's going to be vulnerable to Max Power Kamehameha. SR Broly. Or Dark Broly. There's a lot of cards that kind of work around this, so I kind of view this to be one of the weaker pieces in the deck, especially not having barrier. That's kind of gross, but this has finally given us a Gogeta that the secret rare can evolve off of, so I guess that's cool. Not that you're going to be using it when you could have Baby Hatch and find him every single game through Pikkon's effects. So that is those were the Pikkon cards, and now we're going to go over into the Janemba cards. Alright, so first card is the leader card. You got Janemba. Auto, add 1 card from your life to your hand. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 blue evil incarnate or demon card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. When your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and flip this card over. Okay, cool. So before we even get into the rest of this archetype, Janemba has a fair amount of cards that you can play off of 2 energy, the 2 energy slot. This strikes me kind of like the Shroom Salsa card. There's a lot of cards you're gonna have to go back and kind of look at to see where it can pull from, but that's a very, very nice and open effect. So I like that. Self-Awakening, and then an automatic playing of a Janemba based card. We dig it. Now moving forward, its backside is rather plain, but I mean, with an effect this deep, you can easily find lines of play. Janemba Demonic Dynasty, that's when this card is attacks, draw 1 card, activate main once per turn, blue, place 1 card from your life into your drop area, play 1 blue evil incarnate card with energy cost of 2 from your energy. So the front side will play it for free. You just take a life, which you want to awaken with anyway. The back side is gonna have to cost a blue and you crit a life and you, it's kind of weird. I mean, I'm looking at this and I kind of feel like the backside is a little weaker than the front side, but I'll look at the rest of the archetype before I make that full decision, and of course we'll get to playing. There is this isn't really part of the archetype, but I still just want to put it out here. The Majin Buu Dimensional Intervention. This is just a generic blue unison. +0. It's got 2 cost. Its +0 is to play up to 1 blue skillless card from your drop area with energy cost less than or equal to your current energy. Okay. And then its -2 is activate main, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and return to its owner's hand. So its -2 is kind of a cool little ripcord you can do. But its +0, I guess, does kind of fit in with the gym, but once you start looking around. But its +2 is going to play up to 1 blue skillless battle card, and you're going to see how this is going to interact with this, because this is kind of a skillless beatdown with effect cards thrown in there. So some other cards you got the 3-drop Janemba, 30k vanilla, don't knock it, and you've got the 2-drop Janemba, which is a 20k, cool. So scurrying past those, you've got a new Saki Demon, the Careless, activate main, he's a 1-drop, place this card in its owner's drop area, choose 1. Draw 1 card, or activate up to 1 Soul Cleansing Machine from your deck and then shuffle your deck. Neato. So now we've got the another card, the 5-star Dragon Ball, Parasitic Darkness. It's just another one of these Dark Dragon Balls. You can play it for 5,000 power. But also, if you have 2 or more energy, they're gating these effects now, Zod. 2 or more energy, you can choose one of your mono blue Janemba cards with an energy cost of 3 and place this card under it. Play up to 1 blue Janemba Xeno card with an energy cost of 4 from your deck or hand on top of the chosen card in active mode. The active mode is important because you can swing with your 30k Janemba beat stick and then plop this guy under it and then get another swing out of it. It's additional pressure. Now you've got the field card, and that's a lot of text. Soul Cleansing Machine. Auto, if your leader card is Evil Incarnate card, when one of your Evil Incarnate or Demon cards is played, place the top card of your deck under this card. Activate main, if there are 4 more cards under this card and you place this card in owner's drop area, play up to 1 blue skillless Evil Incarnate with an energy cost of 3 or less from your deck or drop area, then shuffle your deck. I'm not gonna say this is uninspired, but this is literally Majin Buu's ball. Okay, that's it. You play a 1-drop, you can get it. Or you see this in your hand, you play it. You do things that your leader would normally have you do anyway. And then you eventually can cheat out a 3-drop, which is going to be put with the ball, which is then going to go up the chain. Nothing particularly special about this one, but hey, it does what it needs to do. Next card, Janemba Enchanted Transformation. Critical, activate main, blue. When you place this card in its owner's drop area, play up to 1 skillless Evil Incarnate card with a cost of 3 from your or less from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So you're already starting to see you can put up a 3 in already multiple different ways in this deck. It's just how it be. But this is one of those 2-drops that you can play for free. This guy is 10k crit, so I mean you can literally cheat this guy out with your leader card and then start applying critical pressure very early in the game. That's good. Then you've got Janemba Dark Parasite. This is the card that's going to be cheated out from the Dark Dragon Ball. Critical, if your opponent has 2 or more energy, when this card attacks, your opponent may choose one of their battle cards, send it to the owner's warp, and if they didn't, draw 1 card, then switch up to 1 of your blue energy to active mode. So this is one of those like kind of sort of Punisher effects, but it says that your opponent may choose. So they can choose to not get rid of their card, but you're going to get some momentum from it. Now, the other thing is, you know, if you're using like a Janemba that, I don't know, warps something off the board, you can force your opponent to give you this draw 1 card, switch one of your cards up to active. Or if your opponent's not applying pressure to board, you can just snag this effect. So that's very strong. Then you got Janemba Bewitching Blow. He's a 3-drop, so you already know what's going on. Critical and dual attack. Okay, on a 19k body. Okay. At the end of your turn, send this card to its owner's warp. So yeah. Activate main, if you have 3 or more energy and you choose one of your blue skillless battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or 3, return it to its owner's hand. You can play this card from your hand, you can activate this skill. So that's cool. If it goes to your warp, you may not necessarily lose it. I have to do more research in Janemba archetype. Sorry, it's been like a year and change. However, what you can do for sure is put the ball under this if you don't want it going to your warp pile. So there's ways to cheat out the 3-drop, and this is insane critical pressure. Like there's a lot of critical pressure you can do with this deck by turn 3, even turn 4. So that's pretty cool. And then you got lastly the Unison, Frieza and Cell, a match made in hell. Rejuvenate, it's the Rejuvenate for this color. Auto, once per turn, when a battle card is returned to its owner's hand by a skill, draw 1 card, then choose 1 card in your hand and place it at the top or bottom of your deck. It's +1. Choose up to 1 blue battle card in your hand with an energy cost of 1 and play it. So cool. This card's going to be able to cheat out your Pikkons. This card's going to be able to cheat out your Saki Demon. This card is going to be able to benefit from both the Janembas that shoot up to the Janembas that go to your hand to play other Janembas. This is going to benefit from it. The Pikkon that bounce to your hand, this is going to benefit from it. So this is actually a really cool linking piece that fits within both archetypes very well, and I'm happy about that. But that being said, that was all of the blue cards. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Anything you might like more than I did, less than I did, something I might have missed. I want to hear it all. So the next installment will be on yellow, so keep an eye out for that tomorrow. And I hope you guys are enjoying some of these blue cards as much as I am. There's gonna be a lot to work over, especially since the Connecticut event is going to be happening a week after this set releases. So, besides that, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time inside of Join Universe X. And if you like the content, think about subscribing for more content. I'll see you later.